According to the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, there are approximately 90,000 missing persons in the United States at any given time. With the advancement of modern detective work and advanced scientific methods, such as genealogy testing, the vast majority of missing person cases end up being solved today. Even so, sometimes investigators just aren't able to provide enough conclusive evidence to put the pieces together on some of these cases, and they go unsolved. There have been some devastating, very suspicious missing persons cases in recent times that definitely fall into this category. Throughout history, though, all around the world, certain missing person cases have left investigators and families struggling to find answers. When there is little evidence to no evidence and no eyewitnesses, missing persons cases tragically end up being closed and unsolved. Come with us as we walk through some of the most puzzling and tragic missing persons cases throughout history all around the globe. After 32 years, charges are filed in kidnapping of a 9-year-old girl. Witnesses saw Michaela Garrett kidnapped in Northern California in 1988. This week, the authorities charged an incarcerated man with the murder during a kidnapping. This is the story. For more than 30 years, the kidnapping of a 9-year-old girl, Michaela Garrett, has remained a mystery in Northern California. A crime witnessed by only a few people, including a child who was her best friend. Michaela was never seen again after she was taken from a parking lot in 1988. But now the authorities believe they are closer to solving her disappearance, after decades pursuing a trail that they say has led them to a man already imprisoned for murder. The authorities in Alameda County said the man, David Emery Mish, age 59, appeared in the Superior Court of California on charges of murder during a kidnapping in the Garrett case. Held in Santa Rita Jail in Dublin, California, east of the San Francisco Bay, he faces special circumstances charges, which can carry a sentence of death or life in prison without the possibility of parole, because of his conviction for the 1989 murder of a woman in the Hayward area, case filings say. Ernie Castillo, Mr. Mish's lawyer, said in a statement that he denies all allegations against him and will fight these charges. No one in his family believes David would hurt or kill a child, Mr. Castillo said, adding that a defense team would seek to root out any junk science used in the case, expose bias on the part of the police department, and get to the bottom of what happened. The child's remains have not been found, investigators said, but the Alameda County District Attorney said bringing charges in the case could at least offer some hope for justice. The kidnapping and murder of a child is horrific, the District Attorney Nancy O'Malley said in a statement, announcing the charges on Monday. The pain to the family and friends is indescribable, especially when their child is not found. After the charges were announced, Michaela's mother, Sharon Murch, released a statement saying that she had, in the last year, come to a place of accepting that Michaela was probably no longer alive. What I did not envision was my daughter as a dead child, Miss Murch continued. It was only when I heard this news that a vision of reality appeared, and I honestly have not figured out what to do with it. She said that she had asked detectives about Mr. Mish's history of violence. If Michaela could experience, I could hear it, she said, adding the thoughts of her fear, her pain, her grief are overwhelming. On the morning of November 19th, 1988, Michaela and her best friend, who was not named in court documents, left their scooters at the door of their Rainbow Grocery on Mission Boulevard in Hayward, California, and they went inside to buy some snacks. When the girls came out, they saw one of the scooters had been moved deeper into the parking lot and behind a car, the district attorney's statement said. Michaela went to get it. The driver of the car grabbed her as she walked past his door, the statement said. He forced her into the front seat, backed out, and sped off. At about 10:23 a.m., the Hayward Police Department received a report that a child had been kidnapped. They spoke to Michaela's 9-year-old friend. A probable cause, documents say. When the victim went to retrieve the scooter, she was grabbed around the waist by the suspect and pulled into the car while she violently screamed, the document says. The girl and the other witnesses described the driver as having blue eyes and long, dirty blonde hair. In the decades that followed, investigators continued to pore over leads. Hayward detectives never stopped looking for her, the district attorney's office said. The FBI even joined in the inquiry. Prints were taken from the handlebars and fork of the scooter and compared with those of possible suspects, the case document says. But it wasn't until nearly 30 years after the disappearance, as detectives re-examined evidence, leads, and potential witnesses, that progressed in the investigation, starting leading towards criminal charges. Officer Michael Wright, a spokesman for the Hayward Police Department, said in an interview on Tuesday that the prints found on the handlebars were from the kidnapper's palm. A fingerprint examiner was given names of persons of interest, including that of Mr. Mish, the district attorney's statement said. This year he was determined to be a match to multiple lifts from the scooter, it said. Their ability now to compare prints has been significantly advanced through software technology and science. In addition to the prison sentence he is serving for the 1989 murder, Mr. Mish has been charged with 2 counts of murder of killing 2 women in nearby city of Fremont in 1986. Mr. Mish was brought to the Hayward investigators' attention by investigators in Fremont, Officer Wright said. We are hoping that he will be able to provide us with some information, he said. The probable cause document said that Mr. Mish refused to speak to detectives on December the 2nd, or provide a swab for DNA analysis. But the document alleged that the physical evidence shows that Mish kidnapped the victim and then killed her to avoid the risk of discovery. Detective Robert Purnell of the Hayward Department said that the probable cause document. I believe that it is reasonable to conclude that that having violently abducted the victim, a 9-year-old girl who hasn't been seen in 32 years, and whose remains have never been found, that Mish murdered the victim, disposed of her remains, and has successfully kept her remains hidden from authorities. 2 eyewitnesses have also identified him in a photo lineup as having been in the car in the parking lot just before the kidnapping. If you have any other information about this case, please call your local police department, who will get you in touch with the correct parties. But I've been just plain creepy, and I'll catch you in the next video.